Set design and building can be tough for groups of all sizes and with varying budgets. So we stopped by the Questors Theatre in Ealing, West London, to ask Mike Hagan about the challenges the team faced there.
One of the biggest challenges is the skills of the people and the limited resources we have and budgets. Each production is given a budget, possibly 12 months before we actually fit up or design it. The financial side of it, we have to make a guesstimate of say £300 or £400 for the design and construction, and then that's handed on to the production designer, who then dreams up with the director what they want, and they produce a white cardboard model, and then we look around the space we're in now, see if we can recycle or reuse anything. Currently we're building Titus Andromenus at the moment, and there's a scale model behind me. He's recycled, I think, about 90% of currently we're building Titus Andromenus at the moment, and there's a scale model behind me. Looked around the workshops and found lots of elements which he's now built into his design and adapted his design. Take the example of the shed that's in our studio, which is a production done by our playback people, which involved creating an allotment in the studio, which we have created, and we've created a shed from totally recyclable material. Having read the script, we knew we needed a shed, we needed a raised bed, and we needed a table, and we needed a bench, and we needed another table, and we needed a compost bin. So that was the designer's working model. There were lots of changes. For instance, the door ended up in the middle of the set. We did some rough drawings. These are very rough sketches, by the way. These are not working drawings, but as you see from the model, the door ended up in the middle. Here we are. Welcome to the Questors allotment. This is the real thing, which is totally recyclable. The base is made from old pallets, but they've actually got casters on, which we'll be able to wheel it out. And all the rest of the stuff is old scenic art painted, a couple of old windows out of a skip, a door, old bath, all the props we need. Lots of lovely details, the greenery, dried up a bit at the moment. Over this side is all the other props being used. We did some research onto allotments, and we came up with hundreds of versions of people's various allotment huts and stories. We couldn't put down a real floor, of course, or soil, it would be nice to. So it's been painted by the scenic artist to give you that effect. This is called a dottling roller. It's got little things on it, so if you wanted to do an effect, you could actually literally, with a different colour, create a wonderful effect of that. The actual actors stay on the set constantly. They go to these elements on the wall there called a scarecrow, for a better name for them, which is basically a timber frame. And of course what it's sitting on is a scale plan of the theatre, a bit like an architect's plan of your house. So the director could work out from the seating what the sight lines were for the actors. And one of the interesting scenes was, of course, they needed a little ladder. Well, this is part of it. At the back of the set, in one scene, an actor has to climb up a ladder the public don't see and play a violin in one of the final scenes. So all that had to be taken into account. And again, 95% completely recycled.
But how does that work in practice? And exactly what sorts of materials can be reused and recycled in the next set?
Well, if you looked around yourself, the workshop's full of recycled machines. To my left here is a rack with cleats, wire, recycled. Use a lot of cable ties in the business for tying scenery up. Line, all this is recycled. Some of these are in the wrong bins. To my right-hand side, there are racks full of offcuts of plywood, 3B1, 2B1. We recycle all our bits of broken perspex and plastic, because that can be cut neatly on a saw. So we are constantly recycling. So when the set comes in on a Sunday, the get-out day, it's wheeled out of the playhouse or studio, and we evaluate what we can recycle. We probably recycle about 75% of over a year. I mean, there's a typical example of recycling. I mean, the standard builders brackets, so these will last a lifetime. You probably notice that's the natural colour. They've been used on set, so they now go back into our store. And the next person comes along and he's got brackets in stock. This is moulding you'd see in your house. Now that's been recycled. You can see the screw holes basically, so we've taken it off and that'll go back into stock. So that'll be put in the rack for the next designer comes along and says, oh, that's very handy, I can use that. So yes, we do. We do our best at recycling. And as I said, with certain things, it's just not worth it, particularly screws.
And it's not only timber and hardware that Mike and the team at Questers use again. The many litres of paint they mix for each set also live on.
We only use emulsion paint, of course, because of the fire regulations. So all the colours that various designers are all mixed in a big pot. And that's a base colour for scenery, so we're constantly recycling that.
Of course, one of the main things stopping many theatre groups from reusing set, props and hardware is storage, a luxury we don't all have. The downside of too much space, however, is the temptation to hoard.
There is an awful lot of stuff stored in here that hasn't been used for years, which one day we'll probably have to throw out. And we do offer it to other amateur dramatic people, and we support all the local schools and their theatres. They're often coming in, can you lend us a flat or can you lend us some props? We've got a very good relationship with the local community.